Good evening. Hope everybody is doing well. I was just kind of going over the news throughout the day. Quite a bit of news today. Interesting news. And once again, probably the most interesting news, I don't know, was right as I was getting ready to come live. Something just broke out on RT that is pretty crazy. But anywho, we'll get to that momentarily. Don't really have any updates that I know of as far as like we're concerned, things we're doing. Don't really have nothing. I like I said, just spent the day keeping up with the different news, and there was quite a bit of different news in different directions. But I'll tell you what, I didn't expect this one to pop out, the one right before I went live. I'm going to go ahead and take you on over. We'll just kind of run through this and get down and out of here. No reason or anything, just, I don't know, Bill Gates, land purchase triggers probe. I thought that was very interesting. The article says North Dakota's Attorney General has sent a letter to Red River Trust, an outfit linked to billionaire Bill Gates, over its recent purchase of a large potato farm. Attorney General Drew Wrigley's office warned the trust of potential violations of state and federal law and asked for more information. It was confirmed on Wednesday. Corporations or limited liability companies are prohibited from owning or leasing farmland or ranch land in the state of North Dakota or engaging in farming or ranching, said the letter sent by Wrigley's office. Sent a letter to Red River's Trust offices in Kansas, the outlet Ag Week reported on Wednesday. The letter's existence was confirmed by the Bismarck-based TV station KFYR, which published a copy of the first page. A copy of the letter, dated June 21st, was also sent to Campbell Farms offices in Grafton, North Dakota. Ag Week revealed on June 13th that Red River had bought the company from the brothers Bill, Greg, and Tom Campbell in November 2021 and paid $13.5 million for 2,100 acres of their potato farming operation. The law also places certain limitations on the ability of trusts to own farmland or ranch land, said the letter, addressed to Red River trustee Peter Headley. Our office needs to confirm how your company uses this land and whether this use meets any of the statutory exceptions. If Red River can show such an exemption, the Ag's office will close their probe, but if they are found violating the law, they need to sell the land within a year or face penalty of up to $100,000, according to the letter. Gates, who made his fortune at Microsoft, retired to pursue a variety of pet causes, including, I guess, potato farming, from vaccines around the world to buying up land in the U.S. Through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Gates has suggested his interest in agriculture had to do with seeds and biofuel and advocated for switching to synthetic meat as a way to combat climate change. Using a network of corporations, trusts, and asset management companies, the former software mogul had acquired more than 240,000 acres of farmland as of 2021, with LandReport.com dubbing him becoming America's top farmland owner. So, at least in one state, he may be put to a stop. It'd be nice if other states to, step up with something like this. I really do think that the government, and I'm not a fan of government, I'm not a fan of laws, I'm not a fan, but there's a lot of stuff that is really unfair with what's shaken out. And I think that for one, I don't think that anybody in any foreign country should be able to be allowed to own a business here. I think if you are going to be a business owner in the United States, that you should have to be an American citizen. I also think that when it comes to our goods, whether it be farming, whether it be manufacturing, whatever, I think that it should be USA first. I think that the United States should get first dibs on those goods. I really do think that we need to care about our own country again. And I know that folks like you and I do, but these corporations do not. And that's why I really think if we eliminated a lot of this, these huge corporations from owning all these different types of industry, we would be okay. I mean, it would take time for us to rebuild, but I think we'd be okay. We'd just have to rebuild. There are so many, even simple daily household things that we don't even make anymore because it's so much cheaper to have China or somebody else make them, and so we don't even make them anymore. Now, mind you, that's a double-edged sword because once we do start manufacturing more goods, the cost of those goods are going to go up because you're paying for American labor. And unless you agree with George Bush Sr. and think that we need to better compete with the global economy, then we kind of have to swallow the lump and pay a little bit more if we want to keep our standard of living. So that is kind of a double-edged sword. If we expect to have a good standard of living, we have to expect to pay for it. And I don't mean that in taxes, okay? I mean that in the goods and services that we pay for, Nobody is, except for these big CEOs and stuff like that. But the average everyday person, nobody's really getting paid what they should be, no matter what you're doing. Well, I always see on social media, I always see this, this or that thing, how come, the burger flipper versus the, nurse, and it's like, wait a minute here. I do believe they both need to make more money. The burger flipper needs, if he or she puts in a 40-hour week, they should be able to afford to live on their own, period. If a person puts in a 40-hour work week, they should at least make enough money to be able to survive on their own. Plain and simple. Anything other than that's just goofy. But then it needs to go up from there. The the nurses and stuff like that, most certainly they need to get paid even better. Because again, you're talking about a job that involves schooling and education, certifications, it is what it is. And I think that the more qualifications, the harder the work, absolutely, you should get paid more, This is what's happening in this nation is insane. And hopefully, there's anything left to save. I mean, I look at things going on, and I understand that even though things have really slowed down a lot, we still are importing a lot of goods. A lot of goods. And if those goods would stop being imported, we would be in a bad way quick. And we're talking, and you know this already, we're talking everything from medications to you name it, right? Diapers. I mean, anything. And I don't know, diapers is something, but I mean, there are so many everyday household items that, we don't manufacture on a super large scale, and a lot of times when you buy American-made products, you're going to pay more money for them. So, yeah, there may be a company in the United States that makes this item or that item, but that item is going to be much more expensive in a lot of cases. Oh, man. Anyway, this is what I titled the show after, essentially. Century Aluminum laying off 628 employees, curtailing Hawesville operations for 9 to 12 months. It's here, they said they cited an unprecedented rise in global energy prices as the reason to do this. So they're doing this just simply because of the increase in energy prices, and this is in the United States. It says layoffs will begin the week of August 5th and be completed by August 12th. Employees who laid off less than 60 days from the date of the notice will be paid the difference in accordance with the WARN Act, according to the letter. Century officials could not immediately be reached. Owensboro Times has also reached out to union officials. The letter that was sent out reads as follows. In order to continue to operate its smelter located at 1627 State Route 3543, Hawesville, Kentucky, the Hawesville Smelter, Century Aluminum of Kentucky GP, Century, or the company, must be able to purchase reliable, affordable electric power. Unfortunately, an unprecedented rise in global energy prices arising from the Russian war in Ukraine has dramatically increased the price of energy in the U.S. and around the globe. Yeah, it's crazy that they are blaming Russia here. The cost required to run our Hawesville, Kentucky facility has more than tripled the historical average in a very short period. Given these circumstances, it is necessary to fully curtail operations for a period of approximately 9 to 12 months at Hawesville until energy prices return to more normalized levels. This is expected to result in the layoff of 628 Hawesville smelter employees, including 504 employees represented by the United Steel, Paper, and Forestry, Rubber, Manufacturing, Energy, Allied Industrial Service Workers Union, AFL-CIO, USW. Now, the first test to be in that union is you have to remember it all. The entire title. It says the company intends to begin the curtailment process immediately and at the same time prepare the facility for a restart when energy prices stabilize. We expect that employees will begin to be laid off the week of August 5th, 2022, and it is currently anticipated that all of the layoffs will be completed by August 20th, 2022. The specific schedule of the layoffs will be determined based on the progress of the curtailment process described above. I'm not going to read all the blah blah blah, but anyway, yeah, right here is it's definitely already having an effect. So let's go ahead and check out what it says further down here, though. Century is just one of a handful of aluminum smelters left in the United States and the only high purity smelter in the world. Okay? Hawesville is Century's largest U.S. smelter and is the largest producer of high-purity primary aluminum in North America. 4 of Hawesville's 5 pot lines are capable of producing high-purity aluminum, which supports the United States' national security efforts and is used in defense applications such as the F-16, Airbus, naval war vessels, 747 airplanes, and the International Space Station. So, this could actually get pretty ugly. This could actually probably get pretty ugly. It's crazy. And they say it, a year. I honestly don't know if they expect to be able to open back up then or not. I have a feeling that they're just saying that. It just seems like this nation is just being systematically dismantled. I mean, it's so wild. The different things that are happening, but the crazy thing is the way all these different things interconnect and work together. It's like there's no way the system can do anything but collapse. It's just really kind of messed up. U.S. Central Bank needs to increase interest rates more, chair says. I don't know if that'd be a very good idea right now. This here says the Federal Reserve will have to further accelerate increasing interest rates in order to rein in inflation, which is already at 40-year highs, Fed Chairman Jerome Powell told the Senate Banking Committee on Wednesday. I think the most recent inflation indicators, the various kinds, suggest to us that we need to accelerate the pace at which we can get up to a level that is neutral, he said, calling for a restrictive policy that would slow the growth of monetary supply and reduce inflation to a neutral pace, the 2% target sought by the central bank. So-called restrictive policies are designed to raise interest rates high enough that price growth slows down, a critical goal amid the relentless inflationary climb currently plaguing the American economy. Explaining the Fed's aim at achieving an economic soft landing by keeping the job market growing even in the midst of interest rate hikes, Powell admitted success would be very challenging. We've never said it was going to be easy or straightforward. It's going to be challenging, and the events of the last few months have certainly made it more challenging. Nonetheless, there are pathways through which that could happen, he pleaded. He said, however, in a nod to recent polls showing just 11% of Americans believe the Putin price hike explanation for current state of the U.S. economy, Powell noted that inflation was high, certainly before the war in Ukraine broke out, when asked by Senator Bill Hagerty about what precisely was causing the surging inflation. So, anywho, and I didn't, hang on. I didn't look at this after it closed, but, yeah, it didn't tank. So neither did crypto, so I guess that's a good thing. But if they raise that rate again, I have a feeling it'll take another hit. Alright. I honestly, to be honest, I thought crypto was going to start climbing back up a little more, but it hasn't. So I find that kind of interesting. And that was just, I mean, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I don't know anything about money, finances, stuff like that, or the markets and stuff. But I just figured that it would have kind of just creeped up a little bit, even if it was back up to, say, 30,000, you know. But it hadn't. EU told to prepare for total Russian gas cutoff. International Energy Agency Chief Faith Birol warned the EU to be prepared for the possibility of complete shutdown of Russian gas exports this winter, calling on the bloc's members to widen the span of measures aimed at preparing for the scenario, the Financial Times reported on Wednesday. Europe should be ready in case Russian gas is completely cut off. The nearer we are coming to winter, the more we understand Russia's intentions, he said, as cited by the news outlet. Hexafus, and that's what I find interesting too, but it makes sense to me because what else are you going to do? I mean, what can you do with crypto? If you couldn't exchange it for anything, if there was nothing to exchange it for, then it's not worth anything. And so when you buy crypto, you have to buy crypto with something. You're either buying it with gold, you're buying it with cash, but when you're buying it, like if you live in the United States, you're likely going to be buying it in US dollar. So it is still attached to that dollar, in my opinion. Again, I'm not a financial guy. I really don't understand any of this stuff, but to me, common sense says that that still has to be attached to something for you to be able to exchange, because crypto in itself has a very, very limited use. In other words, what I'm saying is there really aren't a whole lot of places that are accepting crypto for payment. Any place aside from someone that accepts crypto for payment, you wouldn't be able to spend your little digits or whatever, your little binary codes. I don't know, I just, I think it's great if people made money on the market or, on the crypto market and stuff. I think that's awesome. I'm definitely not going to call them stupid. I mean, there's people that have made real good money on it, and I'm happy for them. That's awesome. I don't know enough to go into any of that kind of stuff, so I just avoid it, But I'm not going to call people stupid that do it, especially when they're coming out smelling like a rose, And I understand, and that's why I don't play with the markets, that there are a lot of people that not that long ago got taken pretty hard on crypto. So that's why I don't do it. So anyway, let's see. Continuing on here, it says, commenting on Gazprom slashing 60% of gas supplies via the Nord Stream pipeline last week, which the company stresses is purely technical. Burrell said that the cuts are geared towards avoiding Europe filling storage and increasing Russia's leverage in the winter months. However, the IEA has been openly accusing Russia of manipulating gas prices since last year, when the cost of gas in Europe spiked to all-time highs. So, I'm sure they are going to blame Russia, no matter what. This happened, I'm sure you all know. U.S. Senate advances sweeping gun control bill. A bipartisan group of U.S. senators has advanced a major gun control bill, setting it up for a full floor vote in the upper chamber. If passed, the law would mark the most significant legislation of its kind in decades, expanding background checks for those buying firearms in addition to a series of other restrictions. The Bipartisan Safer Communities Act passed a procedural vote by 64 to 34 on Tuesday night, with 14 GOP senators joining all 50 Democrats to back the motion. The 80-page bill calls to strengthen background checks to allow authorities up to 10 days to review juvenile and mental health records for gun buyers under the age of 21, and would devote millions of dollars to encourage states to implement red flag laws which permit the government to confiscate firearms from those deemed dangerous. Among other provisions, the law would also close the so-called boyfriend loophole, meaning domestic abusers will be prohibited from purchasing guns even if the perpetrator is not married to the victim. Federal law previously only applied to married couples, a rule long condemned by gun control advocates. Despite some remaining opposition from Republicans, the GOP's top senator, Mitch McConnell, has backed the legislation, saying, "Our colleagues have put together a common-sense package of popular steps that will make these horrifying incidents less likely, while fully upholding the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding citizens." Full stop. How would any of this legislation, which was encouraged by the events of Uvalde, Texas, and, okay, we'll say even Buffalo, New York as well, fair enough, how would any of this legislation have done a damn thing in preventing that? Number one, I think we need to take a second look at the incident in Buffalo, New York, but there just seems to be an awful interesting individual that was involved in that and was gunned down. I think we need to take another look at that. As far as Uvalde, Texas, I don't think we ever need to stop taking a look at that. What happened down there was absolutely disgusting. It isn't a gun or a gun manufacturer's fault when you've got scores of gutless cowards that would rather sit there and listen to young kids getting murdered in cold blood than even try to pull on the door handle to see if they could get in to stop the massacre. Oh, but they want to take guns from you. They want to take them from you. They want to make them harder for you to get. They are hell-bent on preventing you from being able to get ammunition or making it so damned expensive you can't afford it. It is absolutely mind-blowing to me. Absolutely mind-blowing. Why isn't the White House, why aren't they pushing for legislation that would have actually done something? I don't know what would have done something. What kind of legislation would you put in place when you got an entire team, or teams, plural, of cowards? What kind of legislation is going to fix that? I don't know of any. Same deal with the wackos that go in and do this crazy stuff. There's no legislation you're going to be able to put into place because you're not dealing with the root of the problem. So anyway, I'm just, speaking to the choir here, I know. This could be an issue. BRICS developing global reserve currency, says Putin. President Vladimir Putin said on Wednesday that the BRICS countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, are currently working on setting up a new global reserve currency. The issue of creating an international reserve currency based on a basket of currencies of our countries is being worked out, he said at the BRICS Business Forum. According to the Russian president, the member states are also developing reliable alternative mechanisms for international payments. Earlier, the group said it was working on setting up a joint payment network to cut reliance on Western financial systems. The BRICS countries have also boosting the use of local currencies and mutual trade. So, something to keep an eye on, because the more they start to get this developed and more countries on board, I have a feeling that in real short order we're going to lose global currency reserve status. I really do. And if we don't, they're going to sidestep it. Either way, and they've said it. They've come up right out and said, both Putin and Xi have both said they are not having it. They are not having a part of this world order that the West is trying to put together. And they've been very clear about that. Russia claims hundreds of casualties during the strike in Ukraine. This here says Russian strikes on a shipbuilding plant in the Ukrainian port of Nikolaev killed as many as 500 troops on Tuesday, the Russian Defense Ministry claimed during a daily press briefing on Wednesday. The troops belong to the Ukrainian Army's 59th Mechanized Brigade, the report said, who it believed were taking cover at the Okean shipyard. The facility is located in the southern part of the Ukrainian city that stands on a major river some 60 kilometers inland from the Black Sea. The ministry said the Russian Air Force had used precision weapons to strike the plant's workshops, killing Ukrainian service members and destroying arms and military vehicles. Ukrainian sources reported several Russian cruise missile strikes targeting Nikolaev on Tuesday. These caused damage to port infrastructure, to industrial buildings, and to the power grid, and destroyed some trucks, the Ukrainian military said. In the briefing, Russia also claimed to have routed the 57th Motorized Infantry Brigade. The report claimed that the Ukrainian unit lost over 60% of its strength during fighting for territory claimed by the Moscow-allied Lugansk People's Republic. The brigade fled from its positions in violation of the order from its command to stand its ground, the Russian military said. Last week, Russian military claimed to have killed scores of Ukrainian officers after striking a compound where a meeting of commanders of several Ukrainian units was taking place. So, again, this is the back and forth going on, and it is escalating, and I think it's going to continue to escalate. And I think that once Ukraine starts getting some equipment together, I think that they're going to make a significant strike. It's just my opinion that they're going to make a significant strike against Russia. And that, when I say that, they're not going to wipe Russia out or nothing. But I mean, they're going to hit something. They're going to hit it pretty good, my opinion. And then I think Russia's going to take the gloves off. And I don't mean nuclear, at all. But I think they're going to maybe even go and take out Zelensky. So if they know where he's at, God knows where he's at. He's, I know we see all kinds of stuff, but you don't know if he's, just using green screens and CGI. You have no idea what they're really doing. No clue. Don't ever believe what you see when it comes to these people. And U.S. Navy is worrying about teaching its personnel about gender pronouns. Training video posted by the U.S. Navy suggests that its members are being taught how to correctly use gender pronouns and inclusive language to create safe spaces for LGBT staff. The instructional video in the style of a children's show, denoted as an official U.S. Navy video, was uploaded to the Defense Visual Information Distribution Service by Air Force Staff Sergeant Don Vanucci late last month, but has only now begun spreading online. Presented by Naval Undersea Warfare Center engineers Joni Rosen and Conchi Vasquez, the nearly 4-minute video explains how to use inclusive language to create a safe space for everybody. It's the military. The pair, draped in LGBT rainbow apparel, suggested using phrases such as "Hey everyone" or "Hey team" instead of "Hey guys," and including pronouns in their emails to get Navy service members to show each other that they're allies. I'm your ally, buddy. I'm on your team, buddy. Sorry, but I mean, this is just that stupid. Come on. I mean, we just need to say no. 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 Period. No. You do not have some constitutional or God-given right to badger the hell out of people with your mental illness. No. Plain and simple. Blood test. Moving on. Blood test shows woman charged with DUI, felony child neglect, was sober at the time of arrest. It's insane, man. Insane. Check this out. This is bad enough, right? After working 41 hours in 3 days caring for COVID patients, this didn't happen like yesterday, right? Katie Slayton had the day off on September 22nd, 2021. A single mother of a 5-year-old son, the Williamson County nurse had dropped him off at a daycare that evening so she could run to the mall. A few hours later, she picked him up and prepared to pull out of the parking spot when she saw police lights directed behind her. What would happen next would result in devastating consequences: charges of DUI and felony child neglect, separation from her son for 9 weeks, and an agonizing 6 months of waiting for blood test results. A test that would ultimately show she was sober the entire time. Franklin police have traumatized my son. They have traumatized me. They have driven a nurse with a clean record in 3 states right out of Franklin, Tennessee, Slayton said. I'm not going to read. I mean, it's kind of a long article, but this is insane. So she does take medications for ADD, ADHD. So she does take medications for that. Apparently, at least what they're saying is that maybe the officers may have picked up on that as far as the way she was acting and stuff, that it could have possibly been that, simply that. But I don't know. I don't know why a breathalyzer wasn't given. One of the officers apparently even said that they didn't smell any alcohol. This is insane. You know, before we jump to destroy people's lives, maybe we ought to listen. I mean, why not ask her, ma'am? Why are you acting like however she was acting? You know, why are you extra fidgety? Well, for one, you took my son away from me, for one. And for two, you're acting like there's something wrong with me. I came from the mall to get my kid. You know, why not ask? Why do all of a sudden it's, oh, well, you're DUI? To me, this is ridiculous. So many issues in this world, and I don't just mean with law enforcement and civilians, but I mean all around. Every situation you could imagine could be solved if people would just freaking ask. Speak to one another. You know, it's mind-blowing to me the amount of people that won't speak to one another, but they'll run around and talk like you wouldn't believe about other people behind their backs. Like you wouldn't believe, but don't have courage, one, to directly address somebody and ask them the hard questions. And I don't mean be a douche. I mean, ask the hard questions. Anyway, this is insanity, just more insanity. And again, this happened back in 2021, but I saw it and I thought, man, I'm going to cover that at least. I mean, this woman, she's not even, I mean, there is, I think there's like some type of litigation going on, but it's, this lady even stated she doesn't want money. She just wants to she wants the problem fixed. She doesn't want money. And that speaks volumes. That really speaks volumes. Now me, I'm, you know, I'd be rolling in bank, I'll tell you that much. And I have no shame in saying it. If they did something like that to me, you better damn well believe I would own that town. Just the way it is, I mean, you screw somebody's life over that bad because you can't talk to them and ask a few questions, then you're a representative of that local government. Juul e-cigarettes to be ordered off of U.S. shelves, says the Wall Street Journal. This is insane. This is mind-blowing. U.S. Food and Drug Administration is preparing to order Juul Labs to take its e-cigarettes off the market in the United States, the Wall Street Journal reported on Wednesday, citing people familiar with the matter. Shares in the tobacco giant Altria Group, which owns 35% stake in vaping products makers, fell 8.5% following the report. The decision could come as early as Wednesday, the report said. Juul has faced heightened scrutiny from regulators, lawmakers, and state attorneys general over the appeal of its nicotine products to teenagers. Under pressure, the company in late 2019 had halted U.S. sales of several flavors. So, the crazy thing is yeah, there was issues. There was issues. Even other people in the vaping industry was calling out Juul for their practices, and they were. There were no two ways about it that it was their business was around the teenage crowd. And And so, even like I say, the vaping community called them out. There were different things done to, as a result of that, there were different rules put into place. To my knowledge, Juul had complied to all of those and should have been accepted, just like the other companies have been so far. Which not a lot. Not a lot. It's government, and the process moves slowly. And you probably have no idea what I'm talking about, but the FDA put in rules that these companies, for all their vaping products, has to submit I'm looking for it. I know it's in here somewhere. I can't remember the letters, but you know how it is. There's this form that you have to fill out, and you have to basically have your different products tested by labs and do this, that, and the other thing. Pay, of course, big, huge fees. And if you tickled them just right, they would allow you to sell your product on the market. And that's where it's at. And from my understanding, they are just kind of getting started going through these applications for these different products. So, anyway. It's been a long ride, a long fight, and I'm talking about the vaping industry. That is a fight I know well about. I was there the entire time. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Mind-blowing to me that a government would do, whatever needed to do to prevent its citizens from making healthier choices. And it's not just with vaping. There are so many different things that they won't let us use because it's healthier. It's crazy. Anyway. Sorry, I had to blow my snaz. Got headlines. I reckon I'll just run through those and run out of here and relax. Okay. Let's see. U.S. soldier arrested for insider bombing. Thought that was nuts. Earthquake kills at least 1,000 in Afghanistan. I got an email when that earthquake hit yesterday, and I didn't realize it was going to wind up being as crazy as it was, but a lot of lives lost. Ukraine's timeline for EU candidate status is revealed. Fire at Russian oil refinery after Ukrainian attack. Biden anticipates waiting game between Western Europe and Russia. A court throws out weed killer makers' cancer damage appeal. EU told to prepare for... Oh, covered that one. U.S. comments on blockade of Russian exclave. Let's see. No fast track to EU membership for Ukraine, says France. Russia claims... Oh, I covered that one. EU working on Russian gas price cap, says La Repubblica. Russia needs golden ruble report, or says a report. Biden predicts second pandemic. How do you like them apples? A Russian financial messenger ready for BRICS, says Putin. UK denies visa for Russian OSCE team, says Senator. Canada working to return Russian gas turbines, says media. Turkey, Saudi Arabia seek to turn page on Khashoggi murder. Poll reveals attitudes to EU membership. A Russian artillery depot blast kills 4. Russia sets rules for foreign debt payments. Kiev gave guarantees on supplied weapons, says Germany. Ukraine threatens to sue Russian gas supplier. Let's see. Lithuania ready to expand Kaliningrad blockade, says president. U.S. Embassy in Moscow now situated on Donetsk People's Republic Square. Anthrax in southern Russia. I found that kind of crazy. So, Nepal may move Everest base camp. So, the base camp where people go to climb Mount Everest, they may be moving it. They're claiming, the change in climate, And Putin. I'm sure Putin's in there somewhere to blame. Biden calls for fuel tax holiday, says media. India may open retail chains in Russia. Asian nation seeks NATO mission. A woman held hostage uses Grubhub to alert police. So, was this in New York? Was it? Yeah, New York. So what she did was, I guess this guy let her use her phone to place food orders. So she ordered Grubhub and put on the instructions, please call the police. He's going to call me when you delivered. Come with the cones, please. Don't make it obvious. And obviously, she, for whatever reason, couldn't get it out clearly what she needed. But that was clearly enough that the people at the restaurant knew that she needed help. And so it was police at the door when the guy opened it. And fortunately, they were able to get her and get her safely and get her out of there and arrest him and whatnot. So, crazy. Good thinking on her behalf. Z slams West for sanctions on Russia. A UK weapons stockpile drained by Ukraine deliveries. UK raises alarm over deadly virus detection. EU member ousts pro-NATO government in no confidence vote. U.S. Cover that one. Ukrainian ambassador regrets calling German chancellor offended liverwurst. Let's see. Ukraine de facto in NATO already, says a Zelensky advisor. Probably not a good statement to make. We'll see if that gets walked back a little bit. Amazon debuts fully autonomous warehouse robot. So, how dare them Amazon employees want to do things like have a drink of water or go to the bathroom? How dare them? Anyway, that is the headlines I've got for you. Don't know anything else. I think that pretty well covers everything I got. I'm going to get out of here and just chillax for the rest of the evening and, wait for the drones to come. Anyway, I'm getting out of here. I hope you all have a good evening. God willing, we'll be back tomorrow and we'll torture you some more. And with that, we love you. God bless you. Be one with your spirit, and shalom.